Hey Ray, so today I have for you my baby Q&A. I told you throughout a few different videos that I was planning on doing this one just with any questions you guys may have about baby Remi. She's going to be here in about 3 weeks, and that's just a frightening but exciting thought. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I have all the questions on my phone. The first one that I have is, will you be showing Remi on camera? Now, we've gotten this question about Sophie and why we don't show Sophie on camera, things like that along the same lines. And basically, no, we don't plan on showing Remi on camera, and for the same reasons as why we don't show Sophie's face on camera. Sophie's made an appearance, I think, in a couple of my videos, but you've never seen her face. And that's just something that Mark and I have set up privacy-wise as parents. We decided this long before she was born, that this is how we wanted things. We also have very strict social media rules for ourselves and for our families and things like that when it comes to showing her photo. And there's quite a few different reasons as to why we do these things and why we feel like this, but it basically comes down to is that anything you put on the internet you can't ever take back, and you do not know who is out there. So we're just really protective. We don't like to show our face, and while I want to say that we probably won't ever show their faces on camera, you never know at the same time. So no, we don't have any plans to. The next question is how did you come up with the name Remi? This is actually kind of a funny one because honestly, Mark is like always the easygoing one. He's also very decisive, whereas I'm pretty indecisive about things. However, when it comes to baby names, the man is the worst to pick out baby names with. He likes nothing, nada. Like, it's so hard to pick baby names. I think it took us a really long time to figure out Sophie's name, and Remi is just a name that he liked, and it basically happened the same way that we picked Sophie's name, which was I created a list of names that I liked and I gave it to him, and he basically said no to all of them. And then we went off of the things that he did like. And with Sophie, he didn't like any of the names on the list, like not a single one. And the one that I really liked, not really liked, but was the most drawn to, I guess, was Sophia. It was a pretty common name, and I wouldn't say that I was like 100% sold on it, but I just felt like, I don't know, we were close, I guess, in that name. And then he said he absolutely hated that name, did not want it, and I said, well, what about Sophie? And he loved it. So, and then Sophie's middle name he picked all by himself because we couldn't agree, and I just had enough and I told him to pick it. So that is how Sophie's name got made. And then Remi's is basically the same thing. I gave him a list of names that I liked, and he actually only kept 2 on the list. One was Remi and one was her second name. And it just so happened that looking at those names together, that it kind of was like a perfect little name for her, which leads me into the next question, which was, what is her middle name going to be? And her middle name is going to be Olivia. So her name's going to be Remi Olivia. So he liked those 2 names, and they just happened to kind of go together, which I'm glad, because when I had seen the name Remi, which my old boss's daughter's name is Remi, and she is just, oh, she's a doll, and I absolutely love that name from the second I heard it. But I never felt like I could find something that went with Remi as a middle name. And then when he liked both of those names, they just seemed to go together. So that's how Remi's name came about. The next question is, are you going to room share? And that is yes. We are going to room share with Remi just like we did with Sophie. We really enjoyed it. With Sophie, we did it until 9 months, although I had planned to do it until a year. But around 9 months is when she started not sleeping super soundly. Every time I would leave or enter the room, she would wake up and she would cry. And once we moved her into her own room, she's had absolutely no problem sleeping since. So I'm gonna plan on like 9 months to a year with Remi, just kind of take her lead just like I did with her sister, and just see what's good for her. But I just feel like, especially when they're a newborn and they're up as much as they are, it's just super convenient to have them in the room with you. I don't know. I really enjoyed it with Sophie, and so did Mark, so we're just gonna room share with Remi as well. So the last and final question is the one that I got asked most frequently, and that is, are you going to be breastfeeding with Remi? I got this asked a multitude of different ways, and I'm going to answer it generally and then explain it. Yes, I'm going to be breastfeeding with Remi. My plan is to nurse for the first couple to few weeks and then slowly transition into exclusively pumping. And I just wanted to explain, pumping is breastfeeding. So even though I'm going to stop nursing a few weeks into it and switch to exclusively pumping, I'm still breastfeeding. If you give your child breast milk, I've said it before on my channel, if you're giving your child breast milk, you're breastfeeding. So there you go. But to be more specific about it, I am going to nurse for the first couple to few weeks and then switch over to exclusively pumping. Now, I know the question that I'm going to get the most from this video is why I'm choosing to exclusively pump this time around. If you're new to my videos or haven't watched some of the EP videos, I do mention in those that with Sophie, she had a tongue tie, and that just made a nursing relationship pretty much impossible for us. So I had to exclusively pump. That wasn't my plan with her. However, with Remi, it is going to be my plan this time around. I plan on doing a total separate exclusively pumping video for that. I feel like it could benefit a lot of women greatly, because I feel like the more and more pumping and just breastfeeding in general becomes normalized, the more people are choosing to exclusively pump, and it's not something that you see talked about a lot. So I'm going to do a whole separate video on that, because I feel like this video would be 1,000 years long if I just sat here and kept rambling like I'm doing now. But that is everything for my baby Q&A. If you guys have any more questions or anything like that, leave them down below. I might throw them in at the end of my 3rd trimester update, which I'm going to have to film here pretty soon. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and as always, thanks for watching.